Good morning, Gwen. I just
Good
want to know
morning.
you can start the meeting whenever you're ready. It's 9 o'clock and I think we have a quorum.
Okay. Alrighty. Good morning. Welcome to the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology's board meeting. The time today is November 15th. The time is 9 a.m. Can I start with a roll call with board members, please?
Board Member Harris present.
This is Board Member McCormick.
Good morning. All board members, any more board members?
Hello, did you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good morning. Sorry. Okay, got it.
Okay, we heard McCormick, we heard Harris.
Victoria Negrete present.
Good morning. I see Board Member Stanton. Can you hear us? Okay, Board Member Stanton, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I was just doing roll call.
Okay, this is Kai Stanton. I apologize. I thought it was coming through. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, it's kind of breaking in and out. You might want to clear yourself for the meeting.
Okay, I'll do that now.
Okay, can I have any staff meeting? Staff members from the South? Roll call, please.
Gary Landry, Executive Director.
Bertha Jackson, Chief Operating Officer.
Lauren Gossage, Regulatory Compliance Specialist. Jamie Huggins, Testing and Service Specialist.
Maggie Adams, Compliance Specialist.
Okay,
And
good morning.
Bala, Board Counsel from the AG's office.
Good morning. Good to see you again.
Great to see you as well, Madam Chair.
We have another board member. Roll call. Board Member Baltazar. Okay, for some reason they can't hear me. Okay, do we have any, good morning, our board staff and board members. We have any staff members from up north?
Rodney Moore, Inspector.
Okay, welcome. I'm going to go now to the mission statement. The mission statement for the Nevada Board of Cosmetology is to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of those that obtain cosmetology-related services through the delivery of quality testing, inspection, and education servicing, and I say licensing that focus on consumer protection. At this time, we have public comment. Comment must be limited to 3 minutes. Board cannot take action on a comment, and comments can be comments from the agenda or just a regular comment in general, but no action can be taken. 3 minutes. Can you limit your comments to 3 minutes? Do we have any comments before we start the meeting?
Yes, I do. I have, good morning, Miss Gwen.
Good morning.
Lou from Euphoria Institute, and it's more of a concern and a question rather than a comment. So the board decided back in at the last meeting that December 1st we would be doing a limited hybrid at 6 hours a week. And so my question is, with the spike in the recent COVID in Nevada, what is going to happen should that continue to spike? Is there a provision that's already been set aside to address that? I don't know when the next board meeting is, or is there an emergency plan that if we see with Thanksgiving and with Christmas that we have a spike. I just would like to be prepared, and I feel a bit unprepared. You know, I don't want to have my students in harm's way. And I just want to know what the protocol is going to be, because we're not out of a pandemic. We're still in a pandemic. And I feel that I would like to know what provisions are going to be set up in case we have a spike where, you know, we have to come off of the campus or limit the amount of time on the campus.
Well, I think I can speak to that. From what my understanding is, Lou, is that the board has already approved the emergency for practical distant learning as well as the theory distant learning in case of a government shutdown, or in case of another emergency where we have to actually close, where our students can now be able to receive practical training online as well as the theory training online. But I think that I think it's just a matter of, and correct me, AG Bala or Director Landry, if there is another shutdown, or it spikes to the point where the governor says that we have to limit our beings together in one confined area, I believe that it's just a matter of us calling for an emergency meeting, putting it, and it's already in place. Am I correct?
Yes, Madam President, that is correct. And I just want to thank the member of the public for bringing up this issue and state that, you know, we are constantly keeping an eye on this issue and will be agendizing and having a meeting as appropriate as things come up. However, you know, this is a time for public comment. So I just want to caution that the board really can't engage in discussion right now on this. We're happy to take as much public comment as you have to give us. But if the board is going to deliberate and discuss to make sure everybody has the appropriate notice, we have to agendize that. So as Madam President noted, if necessary, we will have an emergency meeting. And so everybody in the public will be notified about any deliberation or action by the board at that time.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Any other public comments? Before we start the meeting, any other comment related to the agenda item, or just a public comment in general? Okay, agenda item number D. Can I get a motion to approve the October 11, 2021 minutes from the meeting, please?
Bryan Baltazar, motion to approve the past meeting minutes from October 11th.
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number E. The board is to discuss the curriculum, the equipment list, and suggested changes to NAC for advanced aesthetic program, and the Nevada board recommendations will act as guidance for upcoming NAC workshop. So have all board members had the opportunity to take a look at the bullet points for the advanced aesthetic suggested changes to NAC, as well as the advanced aesthetic changes to, okay, NAC. And then there was a copy of the Senate Bill 291. So if you want to, go right ahead, Director Landry.
Yes, Madam Chair, if you give me just a second, I'll talk about what is in each of the documents. That way the board can see exactly what they're going to be voting on or approving or not. The first document is the Nevada Administrative Code governing advanced aesthetics. That just shows the first section says, board staff suggests to add the term advanced esthetician to these sections. So NAC 6448.105 all the way down to 6448.815. Those sections would be where we'd add advanced estheticians. We didn't put that in the first printout. We just put the next section is where there's more changes other than just the word advanced esthetician. So that's, examinations for licenses, advanced esthetician, going through all the changes all the way through NAC 644A.870. So that's the first batch of changes. The second batch, we lined out each of the sections with the term advanced esthetician. So if you want to see where advanced esthetician is, it shows it in each of the sections. So that's all of 644A.105, all the way through 644A.815. Every place where we had advanced esthetician and the changes that are required to the regulations. Then the final piece is the law, and that is Senate Bill 291 by Senator Lange. And that is that's where all of the law is, if you want to refer back to the law. So those are the three sections that you have. And what we're asking is that you approve either the first or the second, whichever, and that you direct us to carry that to LCB and start the NAC workshop process. The NAC workshop process will take anywhere from 6 to 8 months to get through. And this is just the first step of doing that.
Okay, I have a question for you, Director Landry. While we're in the process of the NAC workshop, it's still law come January 1st, 2022, am I correct?
That's correct. These are just changes to the guidelines, which is the NAC, not the NRS. The NRS, that's why we put the packet in that has the law. The Senate Bill number 291 from
Right.
Senator Lange, that is going into effect January 1st. So, schools can start preparing, getting ready to teach, can start teaching and enrolling students. But the details of what's going to be done won't be in there until we have the NAC approved. We don't have to have the NAC approved to have people teach, because we pretty much know what needs to be done. So we're going to just go through the process as quickly as possible. It may be that some students finish before we have the changes all done, but we'll have all the changes to the test and everything else that we need to test them in place before they graduate. So this is just filling in the areas that need a little more substance to them.
And that practical examination, correct me, will still be administered by the school.
That is correct.
As we look through the NAC suggested regulatory changes, board, I just want to make sure that everybody has looked at this information. And if you have any questions, this is the time to, or concerns, this is the time that you actually voice those.
Madam President, this is Board Member Stanton.
Go right ahead, Board Member Stanton.
Everything looks really good. My only concern is when I see the 10% of total hours, I think that's awesome. 5% of students regarding field trips, I think that's excellent. But when I'm looking at some of the things regarding ratio, and maybe I should defer this question because Matt is more familiar with the teaching process, no pun intended on any school at all. I'm just saying that he's done the process already. How many students are we still doing 25 or 20 students?
I think that was a question. Is Matt on our call today? Okay, he's not. But Director Landry was there in the room too at the meeting that we had.
Yes.
And I think that was one of the questions that was asked by one of the other school members, is how many students per ratio? Wasn't it only like 3/4 students a machine or something like that?
That's what I thought he said. I like that ratio. I just want to make sure that he found that beneficial and things work well. I just want to make sure it's equal across the board. I apologize if it seems I'm still
Hi, you're breaking up.
put that in motion.
What was that?
I believe, is that Leah? Sound like you, Leah?
Who's
No,
talking?
it's Bertha. Sorry, it's Bertha.
I'm
Oh.
sorry, Bertha. I was talking to Gary. I apologize. Did you have an answer?
No, I actually couldn't understand what you were saying because you kind of broke out towards the end.
Okay, that's so weird. It says my signal is pretty strong. It was just referring to student ratio per instructor for the advanced training course. And I believe Matt has done this before and it has been successful. So I wanted to make sure that ratio was still that ratio per student,
Yes.
instructor per student.
Yes, this is Gary Landry, Executive Director. We're going to keep the ratios that Matt had suggested as far as the ratio of students to instructor.
Perfect.
The minimum number of students that you need depends on what type of school you have. You need 20 students to start an advanced esthetician program if you're starting a new school. If you have an existing school, you just have to have 20 students in your entire school. So you could have 16 studying cosmetology, 2 nail techs, and then have another 2 that are studying advanced estheticians. So that's the numbers you have to have. But the ratios are going to be kept the same as what Matt has done. And we're going to keep those ratios in place because that is what's most effective from a teaching perspective.
Perfect. That's what I was, okay.
Director Landry, can we make sure that we put something in the NAC that if you are starting a new school, that we make sure that there's the ratio of instructors are increased? Because I don't see that. Because if we're gonna because what I think I'm hearing you say is that when you start a new school, the ratio is 2 to 20. But if you have an existing school, it's basically going to be 2, 3, 4, like Matt recommended per instructor. So if you're starting a new school for advanced aesthetics with 20 students, would you need 4 instructors?
Yes,
Okay,
I'll make sure we get that change put in NAC.
okay.
Yeah, that's good.
And you don't have to worry about being, this is Executive Director Landry again. You don't have to worry about being too specific on the regulations. This is just the start of the regulations.
Mhm.
Regulations are going to come back from LCB, and then we're going to have to do the workshops and go through all this again. Then it'll be time for the board to take and approve the final that's going to have come out of the workshop. So there's still a lot more steps to do. This is just the first step to get it initiated.
I just wanted to make sure with that one because the law goes into effect in January.
Right, correct.
And that was one that I was kind of like, I thought the 2 instructors for 20 students and using laser and all this other high-tech equipment, it just didn't appear to be realistic to me. That's just me speaking.
And I just wanted to make sure it was clarified regarding opening up an advanced training school versus one that's already there, and he has clarified the difference. So thank you, Executive Director.
Do we have any other board members that have any questions before I start allowing, open it up for, the schools? I would like to hear from them because this is the time that before we vote on making those changes to go to move to the next stage.
but this is Bryan Baltazar, and I guess I'm just I'm having trouble finding a certain piece that I wanted to point out, but I just wanted to make sure. So we have a minimum threshold for new schools as far as the minimum amount of students needed for the program. Just wanted to confirm from the dialogue that was just had, there is no minimum number for an existing school. Is that correct? I know the number 2 was thrown out there, but I might have missed something.
That is correct. If you have, this is Executive Director Landry again. The only requirement is if you start a new school. If you have an existing school, you can add advanced aesthetics. You can have 1 student. You can have 0 students. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You just have to have 20 students in your overall curriculum. And all the schools have more than that. But that would be the only thing that you'd be adding. Would be just a new degree, a new license that you could apply for and you could take courses in. But you don't have to have any students in that course if it's part of your regular cosmetology school.
But I
Perfect.
think what it sounds like too, Director Landry, I thought that in the last workshop that we had that we were kind of taking direction from NEMA because they have been working with this program across the country for a long time, even here. So I thought he said it works best with 3-4 students per instructor. So do you think we should put something in place where we won't have 1 instructor with 7-8 students on those laser machines?
So we're going to have the minimum requirements. The ratio of students to instructor will still be 5 maximum, but the number of students that you have to have, we will not set a minimum.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
Just if you start a new school, if you want to start an advanced esthetician school, then you're going to have 1 instructor per 5 students. And
I got you. Okay. I think that's what Board Member Baltazar wanted to know as well.
Yep.
Yes, that's correct. I just wanted to make sure that although the 2 are definitely interrelated, that the language for both of them is clear and concise for anyone looking to venture out on this.
And like I mentioned before, the LCB is going to look at this and they're going to make sure that it's clear and concise to make sure that we've not overlooked something or that we're not counting something wrong. They're going to come up with suggestions and give that back to us. So you're going to have you'll have many chances to look at this again in the future.
Perfect. Thank you, Executive Director. And just to point out, at the very end, the prohibition of the use of the term advanced does not pertain to an advanced esthetician license. I feel like that is as black and white as sometimes we need to go to avoid any kind of confusion. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay, any other Board Member Negrete, McCormick, Harris, Douglas, any other concerns or questions? You have any concerns or any questions?
Yes, good morning. So this is Board Member Harris. So in the beginning, good morning. In the NAC 644A-505 is at the beginning, where it says, it's number 7, the only advanced aesthetics is practice. The establishment must be under the supervision of a healthcare professional, if at all times during the performance of the procedure. The healthcare professional shall ABCD. What type of healthcare professional? It doesn't specify there. Is it a nurse? Is it a doctor, a surgeon, an aide? Or...
That's a good question.
Yeah, that was my concern. Yeah.
Healthcare professional would be a doctor, a physician's assistant, an advanced practical nurse. I mean, they have a couple of different categories that are there. We're just using the healthcare professional to allow that definition to be used. And if they add more people to that, then those people could be the person overseeing these procedures. But it's basically medical doctors, physician assistants, and advanced, it's an advanced nursing practitioner.
So it could be a registered nurse.
Not a registered nurse, has to be advanced. There's an advanced nursing, and
Mhm.
those would be ones that could oversee these procedures as well.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
Stanton. I would like to leave that open if possible, but if there is going to be some definition confusion, do we see fit to put that in there? I know that there are some nurses that currently do like lip injections and things of that nature, and they're not a physician, so that's great terminology without having to go further in. But if that may be confusing, is that something that we might need to place in place, but will that close off the definition? So that's why I
Oh,
liked
it's
it to be
breaking up.
open a little bit.
Just to clarify for everyone, this is Gary Landry, Executive Director. In the law, in the law passed already, it defines healthcare professional. This is under, let me find the section. Section 45 of the law, number 4, subsection D. Healthcare professional has the meaning ascribed to it as in NRS 453C.030. So in the health laws, they define a healthcare professional, and that's what we're using. So I don't think we need to put the definition in our laws. It's already there. If you want me to reference it when we talk about healthcare professional, I can link back to NRS 453C.030.
So it's already, so Director Landry, what you're saying is it's already in the NRS, because most people they're not gonna go back to the SB 291.
Right. It's in SB 291. That's gonna be built into our laws.
Okay,
That is where it's defined, but it's defined in NRS 453C.030.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
great. So Board Member Harris, thank you for that. I think a reference would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
any other questions by comments or concerns from any other board member as you scroll through before I'm gonna open it up to allow we have some people present today that have maybe some concerns or questions or want some clarity. Okay. So somebody's getting ready to speak?
I have a question.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I thought it was another board member, Carol, before I can see you right there ready to speak. How are you this morning?
Good, how are you, Gwen?
Good. Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, this is Carol Westfall with G Skin and Beauty Institute. And so with the amount of instructors that the school needs, would it be fair to say that the didactic portion or the theory portion, whatever you want to call it, of the program of the advanced aesthetics would not need one instructor for every 5 students? I could see it with the practical, absolutely, but with the didactic portion of it, where they're just in theory? So that's my question.
Okay, I think maybe Director Landry can answer that one for you.
Right. This is Director Landry. The only time you'd have to have more than the ratio of instructors to students would be when you're teaching the practical aspects. The theory could still be taught as you do now. You can have 5 students, 20 students, however many students you want in the class. But when you're teaching the practical, you can't have 15 students on one machine. So you'd have to have, say, 5 students on one machine with one instructor, another 5 students on another machine with another instructor, and you could divvy out the class that way. But that would only be for the teaching of the practical, not the theory.
Thank you, Gary.
Did that answer your question, Carol?
Yes, that helped a lot. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? No other questions, no other comments, no other concerns? Okay. So I would like to call for a motion to accept the advanced aesthetic suggested changes to NAC.
This is Kai Stanton. I would like to make a motion to accept the changes. Training courses.
This is Board Member McCormick. I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Before we close, do we have any comments from the general public? No action can be taken on the matter unless it's on the agenda, but the board will entertain comments from the general public, and the comments need to be limited to 3 minutes.
Gwen, this is Executive Director Landry once again. We're going to have at our January meeting, we will have a discussion on the emergency training using off-site techniques, using off-site teaching. We're going to have that as a discussion in the January meeting. That'll be the second Monday in January.
Awesome. Okay, do I have no other comments or no questions or concerns? I would like to call, if that's the case and everybody's good.
Madam President, I just want to acknowledge the esthetician department of the area on the board, McCormick. To ensure the success of Nevadans. And I think this is went extremely well. I know it has been an uphill battle, but it has been extremely successful. The Nevadans, and I look forward to the town hall meeting that will be developing soon. And I think excellent. Thank you.
Okay, Board Member Stanton, we heard some of what you were saying. I think you wanted to congratulate those that worked hard on the advanced aesthetic license, and you look forward to the town hall?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, concerns, or questions? No?
I had one actually. It's
Okay,
more
go right ahead.
clarification. So in the 5-to-1 ratio, so if we have one machine, it's 5-to-1. If you had 5 machines with 10 students, because the students have to be working on somebody in order for them to understand what they're doing. So I'm a little confused how we can have one machine with 5 people on it, and the ratio be 5-to-1 because somebody is. So my idea of what a classroom looks like is that there are 10 students that learn the theory, and then there are 5 machines, and the students pair up and they, work on each other. So is that considered a 5-to-1 ratio?
So I apologize. I want to just step in really quickly. I know there's a lot of concern from the public over this, but the board really can't engage in unagendized discussion on comments. So we can take public comment, but the board really can't engage in discussion right now.
Okay, well, that was a.
Luke, what you can do is you can, we can maybe get with Director Landry, and then
It's just unclear is all.
With your concern, and then if not, then you can have it on the agenda for the January meeting. That's what I would do.
Yeah, if you want to just submit your concern to the director and staff, and then, they can find a way to agendize it. And so then we can have a discussion with notice in compliance with the OML.
Yeah, because, Matt was kind of vague in all of that. And so if we're taking his lead, I'm just wanting to make sure that I understand clearly. So I could submit.
Of course. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Okay, all right, so I think that's it. That was Lou's comment, and she will get with you with Director Landry with her comment. And I would like to call a motion to adjourn the meeting, please.
This is Kai Stanton. I would like to make a motion to close the meeting for November 15th at 9:35.
Bryan
This is
Baltazar,
Board
I
Member
second that
Harris.
motion.
Second by Second by Baltazar.
Yes.
I just love you guys. Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Okay.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a
Have a
nice
good day.
day. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.